What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of To The Rack with Mac. I am your host, Nick Mac Daddy Mac, and we are going all over all the early season overreactions and top stories from around the NBA with my special guest. Please help me welcome him in at this time, Michael, aka Trust the Love.
Sweet.
Welcome
Really
to the
appreciate
show,
it.
my man.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. If you guys don't know, go to at Trust the Love. That's Love LUV on TikTok, Instagram. My man Mike's got some great content up there right now. And we're gonna get talking right into it tonight, Mike, because I got some burning hot questions for you as a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and that's what we're gonna start things off with. What do you see right now? Because there are early season struggles going on. They blow a game to the Knicks, they blow a game to the Nets. It's not looking good for Philly versus any New York team so far this year. What are you seeing in the early season struggles?
Well, I think a lot of it is just them trying to get their legs underneath them. Obviously, they've had some issues in the offseason, and I think a lot of it has to do with that, and also a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's still early. And the Sixers are still experimenting with different lineups. Tonight, Shake Milton is back, one of their key bench players. So they're thinking about bringing Tyrese Maxey off the bench and starting Shake Milton. So a little bit of roster switch around and things like that. Also,
still figuring out the rotations.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think just guys getting used to their roles. Obviously, we got some new faces, Drummond, Niang, really solid pieces. And it's still early. Like, really, it's kind of a cliche at this point, but it's still really early for every team, and everyone's just getting used to the season and getting their sea legs under them. So I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question. One of the things, maybe I just haven't watched enough Sixers games, and maybe it's kind of a new thing, but is Joel Embiid just hitting the ground a lot more early on this season? Like he falls almost every other rebound or every other shot that he, doesn't get off in time or doesn't make. He seems like he's hitting the ground. Do you guys hold your breath as Phillies fans?
Every time. And honestly, I'm right there with you because he falls a lot. I don't know why, but he really falls a lot. Even if you're not a Sixers fan, it's something you notice. And then even if you are a Sixers fan, like you said, you're holding your breath every time because he's Joel Embiid. He's one of the guys that gets injured quite frequently, and it's a little annoying. But that's why you're like, oh my gosh, he just fell. Is he okay? Like
it's just amazing to me that two of the best big men in the league, like Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, are falling and flailing every other play. I don't get it.
Bones are made of glass. I mean, nothing to say.
Right. So, real quick, I want you to give your quick thoughts on how you think this Ben Simmons situation plays out. Does he trade it? Does he suit up for the 76ers? Does he get on the court this season? And does he impact the 76ers in a positive or negative light?
For me, personally, I don't want to see him on the court. I think the chemistry that this team has going without him is something that I want to keep. And I think, whether or not he impacts his team, which the coaches and the players will tell you that he does, he does to an extent. But whatever that impact is, I think his effect on the chemistry, or should I say negative effect on the chemistry, I think would be a little bit too overpowering in that area. And I don't know. At this point, I would just like to see him traded. I don't think Philadelphia is the place for him anymore. I think a lot of people will agree. I think a lot of Sixers fans will agree. And I just think he needs a fresh start. I think he needs a team. I just think he needs a new team. I don't think Philadelphia is the place for him anymore. And will he play this season? Signs are looking like it's looking like he might, just by the way that Doc Rivers is talking, Daryl Morey is talking. He might play. It seems he participated in a shoot-around, I think, this morning, and he was in practice as well. So if we're going off that, he will play, it seems. But we still really don't know.
Be honest with me. Do you wish that the Sixers took Malcolm Brogdon and a second rounder from the Pacers back in the day, early this offseason?
When that rumor was released, I didn't want to do it. But
now knowing what you know,
knowing what I know now, I probably would take it. Honestly, as an honest Sixers fan,
just to be done with the drama, right?
yeah, I try and keep it as real as I can as a Sixers fan, and if I'm doing that this time, then yes. Knowing what I know now, yes.
Yeah. All right. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, this show, To the Rack with Mac, episode 2, is being presented by TRS Productions. And behind the scenes, helping me out tonight is my man Ryan of The Ryan Show and Fox Sports. We have a whole team of creators over here helping us during the stream and can help you too. So please reach out to us if you have any questions about possibly wanting to jumpstart your own YouTube, your own show, and we can help you get that underway. But back into the NBA action. So the 76ers right now are 2-2. The schedule looks all right moving up. Where do you think they finish in the East to end the year?
Well, before the season, I had them as a 4 seed. However, if the teams above them continue to play as well as they're playing, which the Heat are playing great, Bucks are playing great, that's not so much, but I think they'll be fine. Then, I don't know. I could see the Sixers as low as 5. I could still see them at 4. 3 might be a stretch. I think I'll still say the 4 to 5 range, and barring any unforeseen circumstances, that's where I see them ending up.
Yeah, in my preseason predictions, I had them in the 4 or 5 range.
Yeah.
I just think the East is so much deeper than we've seen it in recent memory. I mean, Chicago, you got teams like Charlotte, who's playing damn well to start the season. You know, the Knicks look great. The Hawks look great again. The Bucks look good. The Nets, we just kind of figure and know that the Nets are going to figure it out. I mean, let's transition into that for a minute because I really don't foresee James Harden struggling this bad for an entire season. I really think people need to chill out. It's been, 5 games? Let's just relax.
Yeah, people really take overreacting to the extreme, especially when it comes to guys like Harden, Lillard, guys like that, the superstars, obviously. And I agree. I think Harden's going to be fine. I just think he needs to adjust to whatever issues he's having, whether it's the new rules against offensive players, whether it's him getting in better game shape, whatever the case may be. We don't know. Whatever the case may be, I think he'll figure it out. I think he's going to be fine.
I think he came out and said today or last night after the game that he said he wasn't really able to get into his regular routine of the offseason. He wasn't able to play pickup. It was all rehab for him this offseason, which I don't know. You do not like to hear that if you're a member of the Brooklyn Nets front office or a Brooklyn Nets fan. You know, those words coming out of James Harden's mouth that, you know, the pickup is what is keeping him off balance to start the season. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Probably came in out of shape. You know, getting used to new rotations, obviously, because it's him, KD, no Kyrie. All of that drama is probably a big distraction. But you had Joe Harris struggling early on. You know, he kind of came up against Miami a little bit, you know, brought his stats up a little bit, but empty nonetheless because they didn't pick up the W. And, you know, you got a lot of other new guys. Javion Carter, LaMarcus Aldridge is back. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Aldridge and Harden ever even saw the court together last year. So, and then you got Javion Carter, you got Cam Thomas coming in, who I think should be getting more minutes than he is. I think it's crazy that he's not. He's an absolute bucket. So I think the Nets can figure it out, though. Let's talk about a couple of other teams, though, in the East. And I want to get your opinion on them and if they're real or not. What do you think of the Chicago Bulls 4-0 start?
Chicago Bulls 4-0 start. Well, now I will preface this by saying I like the Bulls. I think the Bulls are good. I don't know. 4-0, that's awesome. I'm not going to discredit them or anything. What I will say is that I'm pretty sure the teams they've played haven't been that
It's
great.
not good.
So
it's not good.
I don't know how sustainable their production is as a team. Obviously, I think guys like Levine, even Lonzo, these guys are ballers. These guys will sustain their play, but I don't know if it's going to translate to the Bulls team as a whole. So I don't know how sustainable that is. But again, it is 4 games, 5 games. So we have a long season to see what happens.
There's a lot of people that are calling for Vucevic as a top 5 center in the league. Do you go along with that statement, or is he more in the 6, 7, 8 range for you?
Yeah, for me, he's in the 6, 7, 8 range. I think I think there's 5 guys who are locks for the top 5 of centers, undisputed, whatever order you want to put them in. And sadly, Vooch is not.
He's 6 for me. He's 6 for me. I have Cat. Obviously, you got Jokic, Embiid at the top. Put them 1 and 2. I don't care which order you put them. If you have Embiid slightly ahead of Jokic or Jokic slightly ahead of Embiid, just don't tell me that it's a blowout and one washes the other, because that's just not true.
Exactly.
And then it's Karl Anthony Towns, Bam Adebayo, and Rudy Gobert. And I believe, those are the top 5 locks that you're talking about, right?
Yes, those guys. And to what you said about the Embiid Jokic thing, you can tell me, I'm a Sixers fan. I love the Sixers. I love Joel Embiid. You can tell me Nikola Jokic is better than Joel Embiid, but just don't tell me, he clears him. Or
I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. That's absolutely insane.
I don't want to hear that. So don't tell me that, or else I will get angry. But like you said, these guys are top 2, and then you have the top 5 right there, exactly. And yeah, for me, Nikola Vucevic, top 6, top 7, that's fine with me.
Yeah, and then, DeAndre Ayton probably starts to show his name. And, the center is probably the least amount of depth in the league right now, the center position, I would say.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's switch gears, because Lonzo, there's a big case before the season that people were picking Lonzo for most improved player. And honestly, I can see that. But I want to talk about another most improved player candidate. A lot of my content's been dedicated to him the last couple of days. But Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward even looking great. So let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets a little bit, because they're on a roll as well. They're 4-0. So I'm sorry, they're not undefeated. That is my bad. They did drop a game to the Celtics. That is my fault. But Miles Bridges, he looks incredible. He's averaging over 25 and nearly 10 rebounds a game. The guy looks unreal, and he looks like he could be headed for most improved player. What are your thoughts on the Charlotte Hornets? Young team, hungry team.
Honestly, I think heading into the season, I think I made a video on this as well. I feel like I was higher on the Hornets than most, and I think I have them as the 9 seed when the season ends, in terms of the playoff picture. And again, it's still really early, but they look really good. They look really good. They have guys that can score. Obviously, LaMelo as their primary offensive weapon who generates the offense, playmaker, scorer, shooter. He really does the most out of that team on offense to generate offense. And I just think they're a really well-rounded team. Obviously
they're well coached.
Yes,
I like the job that they've done.
Coached well, exactly. And they got guys, like I said, they got guys that can score. Miles Bridges on a tear right now. PJ Washington is solid. Gordon Hayward, even Rozier when he gets back from injury, if he's not already back. They have guys that can score. And
Rozier hasn't been back yet, but Ish Smith off the bench has been impressive.
Former Sixer.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. So Charlotte, Chicago, 2 teams that are on the up and up a little bit. Now let's switch over conferences, because I came on this show last week and I said that the Sacramento Kings could potentially be a sleeper team to push for a playoff spot, even a play-in spot. And last night, Harrison Barnes again goes off, hits the game winner. Resurges his entire career in the first 5 games of the season, early season so far. And what do you think of the Sacramento Kings? Because I like them a lot. De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, Davion Mitchell coming off the bench. Buddy Hield off the bench scoring 26 last night. He looks lights out already, one of the most efficient shooters in the league. So what are your thoughts about the Sacramento Kings?
Honestly, I would have to maybe agree with you, because the Kings are looking really good right now, but they don't have that young of a team anymore, to the point where they're like, they'll make some noise, they'll win some games. They're more solidified, I think, because their young guys are now kind of veterans. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, even though he was never really that young when he was playing with them. Well, he was young at one point, but De'Aaron Fox. They got vets. They got vets too, especially like you mentioned, Harrison Barnes. They have guys. They have a.
Their X factor. Their X factor to me is Richaun Holmes. Holmes was a free agent. I love Richaun Holmes, because this past offseason I was dying for my Mavericks to pick him up, give him the contract he wants. But the Kings, they had the money to spend on him, and they knew as a small market team they weren't going to be able to bring in the big fish. So why not keep what you got, keep it in house? So good on them, because I think that guy's a stud.
Yes.
Let's keep it in the Western Conference. One more team I want to touch on real quick, and I kind of have a hot take when it comes to them, and I want to see if you agree with me, not.
Okay.
So Kendrick Perkins specifically has been screaming about this team as well, and I probably just gave it away, but that's the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think they also have potential to be a sleeper playoff playing team. And are we seeing, because this is my hot take, are we seeing like the new age big three form right before our very eyes? Are D'Lo, Cat, and Anthony Edwards becoming a legitimate three-way force and big three in this NBA?
I wouldn't mind that at all. I really hope D'Angelo Russell can become a consistent offensive player because he's good. He's very good. He just gets really cold sometimes and really inconsistent for stretches of games. But if he can become that Brooklyn version of himself again, that's an all-star, and that's going to elevate the Timberwolves, especially those other two guys in Edwards and Towns, a lot. And obviously Towns, we know what Cat does. And then Anthony Edwards, if he can become just a really solid scorer, athletic wing player, pretty good on defense, good shooter, we're going to be talking about a really solid big three. A lot of ifs, but it can definitely. I think it can definitely happen.
Just this is something that honestly, last year, if you told me that this happened, I'd probably want to get you drug tested. The Minnesota Timberwolves went into Milwaukee last night against the defending champs, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning Finals MVP, and Towns, Russell, and Edwards each scored 25 plus, and they let Giannis eat, and they beat the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. I mean, I just think we're seeing great team chemistry come together. I like Jaden McDaniels as well. Is it Jaden or Jalen?
I think it's Jaden.
Jaden McDaniels, yeah.
Two of them. I think one of them's Jalen and one of them's Jaden. I'm not sure, though.
Well, I think the one is Jaden on the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I like what he brings as well. They're starting power forward there, Vanderbilt. Not really big on him at the moment, but I do think that this team is young. They're hungry. I love Anthony Edwards' energy. The guy is an electric off the court player as well. He's such a great personality off the court. He just speaks his mind, and he doesn't care who hears it. And I think it's great. What are your thoughts on Anthony Edwards? If you could draft right now, would you still draft Anthony Edwards 1, or would you take LaMelo Ball?
I would keep Anthony Edwards at 1. I think I actually had him 1 pre-draft. I think I had Melo. I'm sorry. I think I had Edwards, Ball, Wiseman, or did I have Edwards, Wiseman, Ball? I have to go back and check. But I really did like Anthony Edwards coming out of Georgia. I thought he was a really, really solid scorer, two-way guy, potential to be a two-way guy. I really liked Anthony Edwards coming out of Georgia. So I like him a lot. And yeah, him off the court, he's got confidence. He's got swag. Like he's just got like energy, like you said.
Do you realize how much I feel robbed as an NBA fan at the fact that we could have seen LaMelo Ball and Steph Curry on the court at the same time if the Warriors just didn't draft Wiseman and took the best player available in LaMelo? I think about that a lot, and I don't think a lot of people do. Like, we really could have gotten LaMelo and Steph moved over to shooting guard on the same team. I think that would be crazy.
So fun.
But anyway, I mean, hopefully, Wiseman can be a bigger contributor to the squad this year. So, Michael M, aka Trust the Love, I want to thank you for joining To the Rack with Mac episode 2 tonight, presented by TRS Productions. I just want to get it right now. Get it out here right now. Even based off what you've seen the first ultimate overreaction, first 5 games. Who do you got going to the finals?
Oh man. If I have to think about it, I am thinking about it. I gotta say the Bucks. The Bucks look really good. They look really, really good. No Western Conference team is like really popping out to me that much. The Suns look good, but I think the Bucks look really good.
You heard it from Trust the Love right here, folks.
Go.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Let's go.
Milwaukee Bucks right here. 5 games in. It's the Bucks taking home the trophy back to back. Back to back. Anyway, real quick, I know you do your picks every day on TikTok. Please go follow him at TrustTheLuv. Who do you got tonight? Bulls, Knicks, big game on the docket. We got Bulls, Knicks, Grizzlies, Warriors, Ja versus Steph. Pick both games for me quick.
That's going to be a really good test for the Bulls, but I got the Knicks winning. Grizzlies, Warriors, another very exciting game. I got the Warriors.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the NBA, and if you know Trust the Love's content, this man knows what he's doing when he's making his picks. So you heard it here first. Anyway, Mike, real quick, tell them everywhere they can find you. Tell them a little bit more about Trust the Love, what you do. 30 seconds. Go, bud.
All right. So Trust the Love. I have an Instagram account, TikTok account. On Instagram, I post a lot of Sixers content. So if you're a Sixers fan, make sure you go follow me on Instagram, Trust the Love. And then TikTok as well. I just do NBA videos, but I also am a Sixers fan, so I make Sixers videos as well. Trust the Love on all platforms. Go check me out. Would really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This has been To The Rack with Mac, episode 2, featuring Mike, a.k.a. Trust the Love. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you next week.